Hey guys, it's Jake here with eTrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at and we're going to show you some of the details about your RV electrical system. So when you're wanting to connect to shore power, your RV or your camper is going to be one of three different power types. You're going to have a 50 amp, which is going to be typically your larger motorhomes and campers, usually having 2 ACs or 3 ACs. A 30 amp, like we have here, a fifth wheel camper with just a single AC and some other appliances inside. And then usually some smaller pop-ups or more modern campers will just have a small AC unit, and usually those will just have a 110, which is just a household plug, also known as a 20 or 50 amp, depending on the power. What we want to talk to you about today is what adapters do you need when you're going camping. So when you're going on a camping trip, whether you're going to an RV site or you're mooch docking at a friend or family's house, we always recommend having 2 adapters. No matter what type you have, whether you have 50 or 30, usually if you have a 15 amp, you're pretty safe because most campsites will have a 110 outlet, which is just your standard household outlet, and everyone's house is going to have that also. So speaking to 30 and 50 amp plugs, you want to make sure you have the other 2 options that you don't already have. So if you're like me and you have a 30 amp, you want to have a 50 amp adapter and a 110 or a 15 amp adapter. The reason these are important, like I said, if you are like me and you want to set up your camper at your house, get your fridge running, get your AC, maybe get your camper cold before you leave on your trip, or you just need to clean it at home or de-winterize it, whatever it be. It's nice to be able to plug into your house and get your camper cold and get it up and running so you don't have to sit inside and sweat. When it comes to stepping up, which goes from the 30 amp to the 50 amp, or if you have a 50 amp going down to a 30 amp, this is just going to give you more options that you can run your entire camper still off of your 30 amp if you're plugging into 50. So if you have a 50 though, you may not be able to run most things in your camper. If you have a 50 amp, you're going down to 30. Now I know we're saying a lot of numbers here, but when you're talking about 50 amp, usually if you look on your circuit panel, look in there and there's going to be 2 different splits, and that's because you have 2 120 volt, they're on either side, 2 120 volt pegs on your actual plug itself. One of them is going to feed a certain number of appliances, and that's going to be your main line, and the other one is going to feed all the extras. So if you have 2 or 3 ACs, usually those other 2 ACs or 1 extra AC is going to be on that other post along with other accessories. But you will be able to run at least 1 AC and most of your other primary appliances on that other post if you're plugged in with your 50 amp into a 30 amp plug. Now a common question we get is, can I plug my 30 or 50 amp into my dryer outlet at my house? And the answer is absolutely not. You cannot do that because it is not the same amount of voltage. It's not the correct power to be able to send to your camper, and you will end up damaging your camper. But what you can do is you can get a 15 amp adapter and plug it into your household outlet like we had just talked about. But the other thing that you can do, which is becoming more and more common nowadays, is just have an electrician come out and put a 30 amp or a 50 amp plug on the side of your house, or maybe if you have a shed or a barn, have them add that post, just a regular post like you see at a campsite, add that to your house so then you can use your camper at its fullest even when you're at home. Last thing you want to mention, and one of the most important accessories you can get, is going to be a surge protector. This goes to say for your household plugs and for your any RV site, especially the RV sites you go to. With all the varying types of plugs out there and many different electricians going through, you're kind of banking on the electricity being correct when you get there. And I've been camping with a friend of mine, and he actually plugged into a power that had reverse polarity, and it ended up frying his inverter and converter inside of his camper. So that was about an $800 fix to be able to fix that inside. So pick up one of these surge protectors. What you do is you'll plug it straight into the power, then turn your power on. You'll see usually it has a little diagram of what the power is showing. Mine shows double yellow here, which means that our power is good and we're good to go to plug into. These just help to protect, especially if you're camping and there's a storm and there's an actual power surge while you're camping. This is going to protect your camper from any surges of power running through it. Well guys, hopefully this video was helpful to get your electrical system set up for your next camping trip. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and we'll see you next time.